Okay, this is AC Stoller, aka Austin. Welcome back to my channel. And I just finished this movie. It ends with us. This image is a little bit upside down. I guess it's because of Zoom or whatnot. But this movie was very interesting. I'm surprised I didn't see this in theaters right after Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, this movie did have a big hit, big box office hit, just like Deadpool and Wolverine. It wasn't like Deadpool and Wolverine, but it was up there nonetheless. Um, you had people fans of this book, and fans of like Blake Lively, all that stuff. So even before this movie came out, she played Lady Pool, so that was kind of cool. But anyways, going back to the subject matter of this movie is about a character named Lily Bloom, and growing up, she had a family that was growing up, she was a normal regular girl, but also she was part of an abusive family. Her dad abused the mom every time he could get his hands on her, or did something wrong, or did something that he didn't like. And then she fell in love with a guy named Atlas. That's a guy across the street. I mean, an abandoned house across the street because he was from a abusive family as well, and they connected from there. And then they had, they were their first high school love, their high school love, and all that stuff like that. And the people made fun of him like he might have rabies, and she kissed him right from like one of the popular girls, and stuff like that. And that was her high school story. So, and then you go from. I mean, I only went through that briefly because in the very beginning of the show, you show her like moving to Boston, going to start her life with a flower shop, and then you see her high school life. And then it goes from current life to high school, in and out. And then her current life, um, she was going to go to, she was in she was going to start her job, start a business in Boston. Before she can do that, she had to speak um, 5 words about her father at his funeral, and the mother's like, "You need to speak 5 words." But the thing is that she didn't like the father being abusive to her own mother. So it was kind of like, do I really have to say this? Um, and that's really no. You didn't really have to say any. She didn't really say nothing. Then we follow her starting up her business at Lily Bloom's flower shop, sort of in a way, because before that she meets um her future husband and her future love interest, which his name is, oops, um, Ryle, Ryle. But her husband, nonetheless, she first meets him on top of his apartment complex, was because because he has the best view of the city up there, and they talk about, different things, different subjects. One of them is called Naked Truth. So that they got to know each other. Then she realizes the lady that was going to ask for a help wanted or whatever, that was ends up being her brother, and and then she gets to meet her husband, which is also an Indian guy. It's a famous comedian that actually has a special on Netflix right now. Um, I just don't know his name on top of my head. Um, but she didn't realize that her co-worker's brother was the guy she first met because he acted like they met for the very first time. And then he's kind of a very charming, a very persistent kind of guy. He followed her around, kept on going to the store, kept on going to shop in the store. After he became his first, after she he came became her first customer. She's like, "Well, you have to buy something to become the first customer," and he does, and because he sends the flowers straight to her shop. And then she's like, "You need to stop all this." And then she's like, "Well, I'm trying to be in a relationship," and he's never been a relationship guy. He just went through women, that cloning to his sister, and he now with Lily Bloom, he was trying because he's been down in the dumps because when they were younger, his younger brother died, and you don't find out till later in the movie. But since I am talking about different details, since this is the first time I've even watched this movie, but I'm not going to go into every detail of this, like going down all the timeline. But the sister tells her later on in the movie that, yeah, the younger brother, they used to hang out all the time, and they were playing cowboys, got a real gun, you know, shot him. And basically, that when he sees Lily Bloom for the first time, that's where his happiness comes from. But then she starts realizing her relationship was just like her parents' relationship, a very abusive and manipulative relationship because he would say things like, well, there was one review of their favorite restaurant as jokingly, but was owned by Atlas, and I'll get into that later. And he was like, read the whole article, force her to read it. She didn't want to, and but she also seen other signs where, you know, he was making breakfast. She was trying to help him get oven mitt, hit her in the face with the hot pan in her eye, and that's where he meets. That's where um, Atlas sees it for the very first time, but also she meets Atlas again when she's out to dinner with her new boyfriend, with her mom, and then he's like, "Where have you been? Have you had someone in your life? You went to the military, like he said in high school." And yeah, I went to the military, came back here, started a restaurant, and they talked about the dreams in high school. So her dream was to be a flower shop, and he was going to go to the military and go straight to Boston. So there's that brief storyline. And he saw what the abuse on her, what he was doing with the eye and everything, and they got in a scuffle um, at his restaurant. They banned him her from his restaurant, and then she went from back to forth with this guy. But I think Atlas was so much more safer than this guy because her husband was later on in the relationship when they eventually like, oh, we get married. When he got married, he was just being very abusive, and that's when she starts seeing that in him. And then she got pregnant. She got pregnant by him, and Alice like, you're gonna be a good mother and all that stuff like that. And she ends up being that. She ends up being that, and we see the daughter grow. But before that, she's like, I want a divorce. She asked him a question. Being well of the history of abuse and everything, mentally abusive and verbally abusive and emotionally, she's like, yeah, what if your daughter came to you and said, my boyfriend from high school or my boyfriend hit me or my husband later on the road hit me or pushed me down the stairs, what would you tell her? I would say I would beg her to um I'll beg her to leave and tell her to leave, kind of like beg her to leave and not stay with him. And then he was out of the picture after that because we see their child grow, and it's just her and the baby. And she says the title of this movie, it ends with us at that moment. Um, and then she meets Atlas at the very end, and it starts with us. Meaning the sequel to it, to the book. That is, I don't know if they're going to do a movie on the sequel of the book, but if they do, that'd be great. Um, but yeah, this movie was very interesting. You had love story, drama, heartbreak. That guy broke her heart so many times with the abuse, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And the drama was like the stuff when they show the scenes where they're getting abused, it's like there, you see it. It's like Blake Lively and the guy who's playing her husband did a very good job of showing that and showing what the book described of that relationship. Even the guy who played her father and the mother, very good relationship. Um, she was even had a flashback with her dad was I guess trying to rape her mom, and she got kind of the same feeling with him because after he forced her to read that article about where the tattoo on her shoulder was. Yeah, she had a tattoo of the shoulder, a wooden thing, a wooden oak tree that heart that the guy carved, the Atlas carved to her in high school. She said, yeah, this was he wrote in this, it's called Oak Tree or whatever. This restaurant's called Oak Tree or Root because someone that, um, someone really special to me told me this stuff in high school and we keep it between ourselves. And that's, we're talking about Lily, he was talking about Lily Bloom. And that relationship was great. I love that relationship, the healthy friendship relationship with Atlas, but eventually at the end, maybe going to start something new. But the other relationship, it was very mentally, physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive. Now, I came from, I wouldn't say that I had that ever had that in my life with parents and all stuff, but I was in a relationship with someone that was physically, mentally, and verbally abusive. And there were some things in there when he was mentally and verbally abusive, and it brought me back to that point. Now, this person will say, no, I was that person, but in reality, no, I wasn't. And the thing like that, there's even girls and guys like that that will claim that you're the one who's the one doing that, and they won't see themselves as that. But also, they don't see it till they see it. So that's the thing. Also, people can also other people can also accuse you for saying stuff that also hasn't accused you also saying things that haven't been said or done before. Like you can have her say hi to someone and they take it the wrong way. Doesn't matter if it's a male or female, or have a conversation with another person and also still take that the wrong way. So that's the thing. That has nothing to do with abuse or anything, but it also is things of people's mindset are a little different of how things work. And this is why this movie is so important because this was talking about abuse. I'm talking about a love story, and then it came to heartbreak into and then into abuse. There's different types of things like that going on in life, different types of way how people think and how people function in life and how they see their life. And even if it's just one person talking to another person or saying, "Oh, we're talking," this person's trying to talk to me, it doesn't really mean nothing if they're not even, we don't even respond to them or even show them any pay attention to anything or respect them that way and paying attention to them. At least the people in this movie were paying attention. The healthy relationship was paying attention, and the non-healthy one was still paying attention because he wanted her in her life forever and thought he was never going to leave. But that's just my little side rant after this. But this is a really good movie if you're into a love story that turns into a tragic breakup story, but also has a good happy ending at the very end of this. So yeah, check this out if you can. Ends with Us. It's out on digital, and now it's on Blu-ray at some Walmarts. I've seen only two copies I got digitally because I was never going to own this. I always want to see it in theaters, but I mean, I own it digitally, but I was going to own it physically. Even though I own some movies like this, some chick flicks, or people call it, or romance movies like this. But this one wasn't one I wanted to have in my collection physically. This one's something I have something digitally. Towards the end of the day, it's not really my cup of tea. I just wanted to see what this movie was because it was getting a lot of buzz after Deadpool because she was in Deadpool Wolverine as Lady Pool, and it was getting buzz from there, but also getting buzz from the fans of the movies, fans of the books that actually read the book, but mainly it was because of probably Deadpool. So, like, same thing with If. If was I still need to get that movie on Blu-ray if I can find it somewhere. I think I saw a woman that had it, but If for me, her husband, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, If was a pregame to Deadpool and Wolverine. So, for some people, when they went to go see Deadpool with their boyfriends or boyfriends, or even just with their girlfriends because they might, I mean, hey, you have Ryan Reynolds and you have Hugh Jackman, the two sexiest men alive in this film, and then you see Blake Lively in there playing, doing the voice for. doing the voice of Lady Poole, or that can actually be her walking. Who knows? I mean, in this movie, I kind of felt like Lady Poole was definitely her because the body type that is in Lady in Deadpool. But you get my point. When people saw her play the voice, or even maybe that might have been her walking in that scene, they went to go see this movie because why not? Why not give like Lively another chance in the theater to go see this when it was in theaters? But I highly recommend downloading it or get it physically or downloading it or renting it or whatever. It's a good film. Um, that's all I gotta say. If you like this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and deuces.